In other news, recording artists, preachers, and believers from around the country packed the National Mall in Washington, D.C. this past weekend to pray. The Together 2016 event had been in the works for the last 5 years and was scheduled to last 12 hours. But extreme heat and hundreds of ambulance calls forced the Parks Department to shut it down after just 7 hours. Ephraim Graham was there.
Saturday temperatures quickly climbed above 90 degrees here in Washington, D.C. But the steamy weather didn't keep hundreds of thousands from answering the call to come to the National Mall, to stand together, worship together, and pray together.
This isn't about perfect people gathering. This is about imperfect people, and we're all gathering to seek the perfect one. There's only one answer. It's Jesus.
Nick Hall is the man behind this massive event called Together 2016. And recording artists like Hillsong United, Lecrae, and Matthew West lent their voices to the experience.
I was overwhelmed by the crowd, just the size of the crowd. There was thousands, hundreds of thousands of people standing in that place today, celebrating the God who forgives, the God who renews, and the God who can bring healing to our hurting nation.
Packing the National Mall with 1 million people to pray has been in the works for the last 5 years. But the timing of it, considering what's happened in our world in the last few weeks, couldn't have been more perfect. Unfortunately, extreme heat forced the Parks Department to shut things down about 5 hours early. That decision came after hundreds had to be treated for heat-related illnesses.
I love that we're together. It's good to see a glimpse of what heaven might be like one day. This is just a glimpse, but when it comes down to it, we got it at one point, whether it's at 9 o'clock or now, be ready to walk out of here and live it out.
Christian concert organizer Ryan Romeo was there when Minister Nick Hall first announced plans for Together 2016 5 years ago.
How bummed are you that it had to end early?
Oh, it's heartbreaking. Yeah, it's 5 years of them planning that. That was a hard thing, but you know, I talked to one of the leaders right after, and he said, you know, I just got to trust that the Lord had something in that. You know, even with tears in his eyes, he said, I have to trust that God knows what He's doing, and that something amazing still happened, even though we had to end it early, you know.
Because the true measure of success is what changes after leaving the park. Ephraim Graham, CBN News, Washington.